I was looking for a relationship.
I was hoping to find that perfect match.
And I've had a lot of people tell me that I should try the online thing. And I was a little bit skeptical at first because really, how often does the online thing work out?
Very low expectations.
Life just flows better when you've got that partner that works on the same level that you do.
It's just easy.
You know when things just flow? That's what I wanted.
EFI Digital Storefront provides your clients with branded, sticky storefronts, streamlines job submission, automates your workflow, and offers flexibility for growth into new markets.
Reliability is very important to me. Trust is very important to me.
This is the piece that was missing.
This is love at first print. EFI Digital Storefront.
I love my digital storefront.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Connect. This year is a year of some milestones for us here at Connect. It's our 10th year under EFI since the Productivity Software group became part of the company. And therefore our 10th Connect under EFI as well. And it seems like, well, it seems like a longer period of time than that to me, actually, that we've been part of EFI. But it's been, the conference has certainly grown over those years. I think this is our largest conference ever. And thanks to all of you for joining and for coming and being customers of our products. So if you've been here for a number, and I know there are a few of you that have been here for every Connect since the beginning, but you've seen Guy give those fireside chats that we had last night with Benny Landa. Guy, that's something that Guy likes to do on a frequent basis, both here and in our internal leadership meetings. And so that's probably, I don't know, the 20th, maybe 30th time I've seen Guy give that fireside chat. And I can say that's the first time I've ever seen him speechless in one of those chats. And I think maybe he'll be having second thoughts about asking the personal interest question in the future. So, but I know I enjoyed the conversation last night. I learned a lot about the history of digital printing in the industry, and certainly about what's going on in the future of digital printing with nanotechnology. But one thing we didn't learn about last night was workflow. As you heard, despite Guy's best efforts to the contrary, he could just not pry any opinions out on workflow. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So you're going to have 1 hour of nonstop workflow, and hopefully we'll make some progress here. So first, Connect, as I mentioned, our 10th anniversary. There's over 1,200 people here this year. So again, thank you everyone for coming, and coming again and again for those of you that have come for the many years. 180 classes are taking place, so please take advantage of that. It's a great opportunity for learning from our experts and a great opportunity for you to interact with other people from the industry. Our commitment at EFI remains around how we can help you succeed as a customer. We want to help you grow your revenues. We want to help you grow your profitability. We want to help ensure the ongoing viability of the industry. And that's really what we wake up thinking about every day and what we go to sleep thinking about. And while I do have some hobbies outside of just business, unlike Mr. Landa last night, it is still certainly what we are very passionate about, what we think about all the time. And so we want to challenge you today as our customers to think differently about how you run your business. You know, Guy spoke yesterday in his earlier presentation about the window of opportunity constantly changing. And so in order to keep your business up to date with where the industry is going, you have to always challenge your assumptions, challenge how you interact with your customers, challenge how you manage your employees, challenge how you run your business. And we believe that our software products, our workflow products, are enablers to help you accomplish just that. The first of these game-changing technologies that can help you change how you run your business that I want to talk about is the Fiery products. So it's very interesting. It's not, I don't think it's very well known. You know, most people think you send a file to a digital printer, those of you that don't actually run the printer, but you send a file to the digital printer, it's going to come out the way it's supposed to look. You have a PDF file, you print it, well, the printout that you get is going to look just like the PDF file that you sent to it. As it turns out, that really doesn't happen quite a bit. And as a result, an industry organization set up this test suite, this VIGC test suite, to determine whether an output engine combined with the digital front end could generate a perfect PDF. So a PDF that looked exactly like the content that you sent it. The fonts are the right size and clarity, the colors matched, and so on. And I learned actually a couple of weeks ago that Fiery is the only digital front end in the entire industry that got this perfect PDF rating, where you could be sure that a file you sent to the output engine actually matched the content file that you sent to it. And I think that's something that's not very widely known within the industry, and thought it was definitely worthwhile to spotlight here, because that's, of course, the ultimate test of you as a printer. Can you print out back to the customer the content in the way that they wanted it and expect it to look? And so Fiery is a lot more than just a front end that's attached to a print engine. It's an entire workflow. There's that W word again. So from beginning to end, while we start with job submission, let's say in digital storefront or OPS product, and that flows through our MIS, Fiery can do a lot of things with that content. It can pre-flight it, it can prepare it, it can impose it, it can validate it, it can distribute it to multiple output devices, it can monitor how those output devices are working, it can communicate that information back to the MIS about how the jobs are being produced. So all of that information, Fiery is really the enabler of that digital printing workflow. And so if you're not familiar, because a lot of you have come here just from the MIS perspective, I encourage you to look at the sessions that are here on Fiery. There's 10 different sessions that have been set up in the classroom agenda during Connect, and take the time to sit in one of those classes and learn about the features and functions and differentiation of the Fiery to see how it can play an important part of your business. Even if you have the Fiery and your production people are running it, what we often find is that even people that have the Fiery don't utilize it to its full potential. So even if you're not the one that's responsible for running the engine, think about attending one of these classes to learn about the untapped capability of the Fiery that you can bring back to your shop, and then talk to us about doing training for your staff to learn how to better leverage that technology. One of the other game-changing technologies I'll talk about before we get into the software part of the presentation are our inkjet solutions technology. So one of the important things to think about if you are in the commercial printing business is where the opportunities lie. Guy talked about, again, the window of opportunities, but to just scope out for you what the size of these opportunities are, the display graphics industry today is a $125 billion industry. That's a pretty big size industry, and it's changing dramatically. So the quantity of digital print that's taking place in that industry is rapidly accelerating. The shift from analog to digital is happening very, very quickly there. And so that's, let's say, 10, 15 years into that transition cycle. On the labels and packaging front, the transition to digital there is happening much more slowly. Label printing is a $50 billion industry by itself. The transition to digital has really just begun over the last 5 years or so. And if you haven't had the chance, the Jetrion press that's sitting right over there, not during the presentation, of course, but after the presentation, please go take a look at that at the Jetrion press. While the Vutex are big and print these great graphics and everything, the coolest technology we have here, I think, is that the little laser cutter that's on that Jetrion press, where it cuts it in real time right after it prints, and you can cut a label shape in any shape you want using this laser cutter that's integrated into the machine. And it's it's very Star Wars there to see that lasers actually cut all the shapes and everything. So that's again, it's a different way to get involved in the packaging space, because it gives you a piece of technology that can produce a finished product. You know, you're printing the product, cutting the product, rolling the product up into a new roll, prints the address label that goes on the outside of the roll, and then you're ready to ship the thing out the door. So it's a really neat piece of technology. And so a thing to think about, a lot of commercial printers that I meet with say, well, we're outsourcing most of our wide format work today. We have a partnership with somebody that does that for us. So the economics are such today that if you're outsourcing at least 600 square feet a month, you really can cost justify getting into one of the Inkjet Solutions products we've got here today. So think about that when you go back to your business, to go look at the metrics of how much you're buying from other sources. And if you're over that 600 square feet a month mark, then talk to one of our people about how one of these printers may be able to save you money, again, generate profits for your company. The full lineup, I'm not going to go through the individual printers, but you can see there's a lot of printers of different shapes and sizes, everything from flatbed printers to hybrid printers that do flatbed and roll-fed to pure roll-fed printers from 1 meter wide up to 5 meters wide. So a wide variety of different ways to get into the business, and a wide range of different types of products that you can produce with the technology. And so, I talked a little bit about label printing there. We talked about digital printing with Fiery, talked about wide format. One of the things we want to make sure that people understand is that EFI is really around serving the entire printing and packaging industry. I think that's one of the things that makes us really unique, most unique within these industries, is that the software that we have, the equipment that we have, we're really trying to target the industry as a whole and only the printing and packaging industry. We do the ceramics printing there, but it's really industrial printing. And so that's, again, what we wake up thinking about, what we go to bed thinking about, is how can we improve the industry, and what areas of innovation can we invest in to drive productivity and profit in the industry. And so we like to group so we can think about things in terms of capability into these 4 different categories of systems and technology. First, acquisition, and that does not mean our acquiring different software companies to bring them as part of EFI. I talked about that yesterday, but rather acquiring content, acquiring jobs from your customers. We have 3 different solutions we'll talk about for that area. Management information systems, ERP systems. That's the core reason why many of you are here today. We'll talk about the roadmaps for these products. Prepress, we talked about that. While we make the Fiery XF, the color-proof XF products, we do integrate with other workflow products for serving different segments of the industry, because we recognize, a lot of you do a lot of different types of printing. And so, we have our partner Kodak here that we've integrated Printergy with, and we have a very nice level of integration with Printergy. We also support integrations with Apogee and Prinect from Heidelberg. On the production side, of course, the ViewTech, Jetrion presses, and our JDF capability to talk to other types of devices. And one thing I recommend that you take a look at, and Benny alluded to this last night when he said all he knows about workflow is what Udi Arieli taught him yesterday morning when he saw his video. This is a little snapshot of the video, and I think we're showing it over there, Udi, right? That's that side of the hall. So this is an animated video we put together this year to help illustrate very clearly what our goal is and how the technology works from end to end with this between the web to print all the way through to production. And even if you think you understand completely how the integrated workflow works, I think it's still worth the time, the 10 minutes it takes to see the video. If Udi explains it to you, it might take a little longer. It might take you a little longer than that, but and Udi just pointed out 6 videos. But together, they take about 10 minutes to look at. And you know, I encourage you to sit through that, and it helps really clearly understand how our products work together to form this integrated workflow. So a little bit about the Productivity Software Group inside of EFI. We are certainly the largest at what we do. This year was a milestone for us with the expansion into other areas of the world. We acquired Metrics in Latin America, so we're now that happened just before the last Connect that we had in 2012, but it makes us the largest software provider in Latin America. With the Techniques acquisition that we did just recently, that helped cement our position as the largest provider of MIS software in Europe, in South Africa, in Australia, and New Zealand as well. So now, really, if there's a market where MIS systems are sold, EFI is the largest provider of MIS software in that market. And we also acquired OPS, which we'll talk about in a little while, but our goal is to continue this consolidation. We continue to believe that the way that we can serve you best is to bring as many customers under the portfolio as we can, so that we have more customers that can help drive improvements in our core MIS products. And you know, sometimes we get technology from the acquisitions, sometimes we get customers from the acquisition, but we always get something that can help make our product portfolio better. A little snapshot about our group today. As Guy mentioned yesterday, we have over 600 people in the productivity software business today that are working on web-to-print and MIS software. As you can see, about half of that, so over 300 people today, are doing development on MIS and web-to-print as part of EFI. And that is, those 300 people represent probably the total people working in the next 20 MIS companies in the world, the next 20 largest MIS companies in the world combined. So a huge amount of investment in the future of your products and in the future of the industry to try to find ways to make the industry more efficient. And one of the things I want to bring up here that we don't often talk about, we do surveys of our customers every year. This is, of course, our easiest way. The Connect is our easiest way to get a lot of one-on-one feedback from all of you about what kind of job we're doing and what you want to see in our products. But we have these surveys that we produce twice a year to get satisfaction ratings, get ideas about what you're looking for in the products, find out what we're doing well, what we're doing not as well, and that's the way that we improve. And so it's critical that you give us that feedback as often as you can. The survey is not that long, but if you don't get the survey, please let us know, and we'll make sure we get one routed to you via email. But it is really how we set our agenda, how me and the general managers that report to me set our agenda for the coming year. And so it's important that we hear back from you and we understand what kind of job we're doing. So this is our product portfolio today within the Productivity Software Group. The bottom of the chart represents the different products and the different segments we're selling those products into. The top of the chart represents our integrated products that are tied into the core MIS systems on the bottom. And so you can see the full scope of all the different segments of the industry along the bottom of the chart that we're serving with the different MIS products, and again, the scope of all these integrated products. So let's go through these individually to talk about what's been happening in the last 12 months and what we have planned over the next 12 months. So first, with PACE. For those of you that aren't aware, PACE is our browser-based MIS system that, as you saw, is geared around mid-size commercial printers, digital print, wide format graphics, offset, of course. A lot of the work, and here's that W word again there, workflow, a lot of the work we've been doing within the MIS products over the last 12 months have really been about not just adding features, but figuring out how the MIS systems can participate in automated workflows. When the MIS systems were first built, first introduced years ago, it was all just around costs. It's around how could I track my costs, use those costs that I've tracked to estimate the cost of a future job, and help sell new work into my company. And so what we have been doing is trying to change that paradigm for MIS systems. We don't want them to just help track how your business is run. We want them to help run your business more efficiently. And the way we do that is by tying it into these integrated digital workflows, where we actually get the content as part of the workflow, we manipulate it within the MIS, we schedule it within PrintFlow, we tie into Fiery Central, we route it out to the output devices, we track those output devices in real time. And so each segment of the industry, each type of product that you produce, requires a slightly different workflow, because the way you interact with the customers are different, the way you interact with the devices are different, the handling of the content's different. And so we've tried to really develop different types of targeted workflow, specifically around the workflow requirements of different types of digital printing. So we have a workflow for toner-based devices that are powered by our Fiery front ends. We have a workflow for inkjet-based devices, for the wide format devices that are powered by Fiery XF. And that's been a lot of the investment that we've been doing. That's what Udi's animation that I was referring to before illustrates. It takes a lot of work to change the construct of, because the MISs were not built to do that originally. But we firmly believe that because of the trends that are happening in the industry, and these are not trends that can be debated any longer. They're definite, and they're only going to continue to proceed, which is that the quantity of jobs that you have to run in order to make the same dollar of revenue continues to increase. It's going to continue to increase more and more. And that's from two things that are really driving that. Number one, the pricing that we're able to charge as an industry to end customers for print as a media has definitely been going down. And also, in parallel to that, the run quantities for the average order size that customers are placing are also going down. So all that means is, of course, more jobs to get the same dollar of revenue you had before. When the jobs increase, that means that any touch of that job, where before you had 100 jobs that you could produce with 5 CSRs, now you've got 1,000 jobs that you have to produce with those same 5 CSRs, because you're not getting any more revenue. In fact, you could be getting less for those same 1,000 jobs. And so, as a result, we find it critical to look at ways to help reduce the quantity of touches, to help that job move through your facility more efficiently and drive cost out of your production environment, so you can address those trends that are happening with this increased job frequency. So some of the other things that we've done around PACE over the last year was we introduced the PrintStream warehouse management and fulfillment, and I'll speak about that more later, because we've done it with both PACE and Monarch, and I'll talk about that as a product. But again, another big trend that's been going on for many years in the industry is more requirements for fulfillment. That could be fulfillment of finished goods, fulfillment of print-on-demand product, fulfillment of combinations of pre-printed shells, kitting. All of those things are things that I'm sure many of you in the audience today have adapted to try to generate supplemental revenue to get more share of your customers' spend. And so that's another big piece of investment that we've done there, again, around trying to automate more workflow in your facilities. So one of the other things we've been doing for PACE is looking at different ways to change the UI to make it more effective. This is not Windows 8 you see on your screen here. This is a new PACE user interface for dashboards that allow you to build new dashboards to monitor how your business is doing. This is a prototype that we're working on this year. Our goal for the coming 12 months is to do more work on that dashboard, so you have additional capabilities at monitoring how your business is doing, adding additional integrations here, again, to drive that automation. And that's why we invest, again, so much in this integration piece of the equation for all of our MIS, because Only through that integration can we really drive the full end-to-end workflow automation that's needed to drive cost out of your equation. So next, on the Monarch side. So we've been very busy this year on Monarch, adding capabilities around additional market segments for this. Post the PrintStream acquisition, we made a goal that we were going to look to add to Monarch a number of the direct mail capabilities that were present in PrintStream before, so we could have a single platform that we could use for our high-volume web offset and high-volume digital production printers. And so a lot of the last year was spent adding a bunch of very detailed direct mail capabilities to Monarch to deal with the versioning, the kitting, the inserting that has to take place under direct mail. And so we now have that for display here at the conference. If you go back to the Monarch stand behind in the computer lab, you can see some of those features. We also added wide format capabilities to Monarch. You know, I've gotten the question to say, well, you have wide format and paste, why are you adding it to Monarch? And we've done that really because the full scope of clients within the industry we've seen now adopting wide format technology, and so our Monarch clients were asking for it as well. We also saw a need for dealing with leveraging some of the versioning capabilities that we have in Monarch to deal with more complex requirements on the wide format side. So the companies, let's say, that were in the screen printing business before, that were doing very sophisticated kitting and fulfillment for their wide format clients, we saw an opportunity there to leverage the technologies we had in Monarch, again, around versioning, to address some of those problems. And so that's another area where we've done significant investment. We've also been doing a lot of investment on Monarch on synchronizing the user interface across all the different modules that make up Monarch. So you'll see a lot more common look and feel today if you go see the current version of Monarch, and that will continue over the coming years. This is just an example of that new common user interface look and feel that I was mentioning before. Over the coming 12 months, there'll be more of the similar types of things that I was talking about, additional mailing improvements, integration with postal accounting, and making that a more significant module in the application. We're adding additional capabilities for automated impositioning with both metamation for doing nested impositions where you have non-rectangular content that you're putting within a common imposition. And adding metrics integration into Planner as well for, again, automated imposition creation. We are also investing here to make the installation and update process for Monarch a lot more streamlined and automated, because that's been something we've gotten, again, feedback from the clients that you'd like to see us invest in for the product set. The improved Fiery support for the end-to-end automated workflow, again, a key piece of what we're doing on the Monarch side, as I mentioned on the paste side of the equation. Turning to Radius, our solution for the packaging space, folding cartons, flexible packaging, label printing, extrusion. On the Radius side as well, some integrated investment over the last year. So one of the things we were hearing from our Radius client, Radius always had its own scheduling application native within the tool set. We were starting to get requests from the Radius client base to say, hey, we saw that PrintFlow thing that Udi was talking to us about. You know, when can we get that for Radius? When can we get the optimization capabilities, the multi-plant enterprise visibility that we're hearing about within PrintFlow? And so we made the decision in 2012 to integrate PrintFlow fully into Radius and making an option for the Radius clients. And we have successfully deployed the first of those PrintFlow deployments with Radius. We're expecting we're going to have a lot more interest in that. Similar thing with AutoCount. Radius had a DMI capability, direct machine interface capability, that had been selling for years. Starting to get requests for some of the additional capabilities that AutoCount offers over the Radius DMI. And so we made the investment to integrate AutoCount, and that's now an option with Radius. We also look to try to find a way to leverage more of the modules we have. One of the ways we did that was the Monarch Financial Accounting. We've now made an option with Radius. And so before that, it was just really open accounts, or you had your own financial accounting package and you used the X-Link financials to link to that from Radius. Well, we felt the Monarch Financial Accounting's been out for many years. It does multi-currency, multi-plant, multi-country accounting with different divisional level accounting and enterprise accounting. And so we said, well, let's leverage that with Radius as well, because we're getting a lot of requests for that on the Radius front to enhance how we do our integration with open accounts. We might as well leverage the tool we have. So we built that integration. That gives the other advantage, because it's now got a common financial accounting core, that if you're a company that has some facilities that do packaging, some facilities that do commercial printing, that we can set up an enterprise system for you with a single core financial accounting package based on that Monarch Financial Accounting, and you can have some facilities running Radius and some facilities running Monarch. So you can really have an enterprise system. And we'll see over the coming years more of that commonality coming into play especially between Monarch and Radius, because they're built on similar platforms. There'll always be two separate targets there, because the needs of the packaging business are different from the needs of the commercial print business. But we're going to leverage more and more common modules between Monarch and Radius especially. And one of the other things with the Technique acquisition, and you notice I don't have a Technique roadmap slide because it is so new. We're still working on the integration, not the technology integration, but the company integration of bringing that as part of EFI. So we're not presenting the roadmap for Technique here. You'll get that in breakout sessions. But one of the things we've been studying is that Technique had a lot of modules as well within it that that they had developed on their own, that we didn't really have exposure to before. Well, one of the things they had was a very nice CRM solution, customer relationship management solution. Within Monarch, we've always done that via integration to Salesforce.com. We're looking at maybe building integration to Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and Radius had its own CRM-based solution, but we did not invest a tremendous amount of money in enhancing the CRM as part of Radius. Well, we got great feedback from the Technique clients about how they like the Technique CRM. It's a browser-based tool set. It sits on top of a dashboard that ties into the core MIS system. And so one of the things we're going to be studying over the next 12 months is, can we take that Technique CRM solution and layer it on top of Radius and Monarch? Because, again, it's similar technology platform to the way that Radius and Monarch are built. We've had those requests from many of you about enhancing the CRM natively inside of those tool sets. And so, that's something you should give feedback to as you in the user group meetings, as you interact with different people from EFI. If you're a Radius or Monarch client and you're interested in that CRM solution for your company, talk to the EFI representatives, let them know that you're interested in that, and maybe take a little minute to take a look at how the Technique CRM solution works so you can give us feedback about what you think about it. So some screens. Again, we're trying to modernize aspects of Radius as well. The new estimating screens are on the right there. It's simplified estimating to allow more rapid estimating, especially in the label and folding carton space. If you haven't seen that yet and you're a Radius client, please take a look at it in the demonstration area. Integration to Fiery XF, because that's what drives our Jetrion press. That's specific for the label printing segment. So you'll be seeing more of that end-to-end workflow coming within the Radius environment as well. Over the next 12 months, we'll be continuing to work on the modernization of the user interface in Radius, and also finishing a lot of that price-based estimating and rapid estimating interface for Radius with that new screen that I was just showing you on the prior slide. Next, PrintSmith Vision. So they get the fancy slide because it's the new product this year that we finally put out. This has been something we've been working on for, I think we first started talking about it Connect 2 years ago to some of you. We've been working on it for about 3 years. And PrintSmith It's designed for our smaller commercial printers, copy shops, franchise customers, small on-demand shops. PrintSmith had been first developed back in the 1990s and was built on a platform that was becoming very, very difficult to support. It didn't give us the ability to build APIs, to do integrations, to really expand its capabilities in the future. So we made a decision about 4 years ago that we were going to start working on a replacement platform for PrintSmith that the PrintSmith customers could migrate to. We made the decision at that point that, you know, this client base, they really don't want to have to invest a lot of time in switching to a new platform. You know, it's this segment of the industry runs very, very lean. A lot of the shops just have 10, 15 people or so. The owner of the business is usually involved in actually running the day-to-day, sometimes running the equipment, sometimes doing the estimating, doing the sales. So we said one of the requirements for this is that if we're coming out with a new technology platform for the customers, we cannot have it be a burden for somebody to switch from they have today to this new platform. And so we made the decision to start by taking all the existing PrintSmith screens and rebuilding them in a new platform, in a browser-based platform, so we could leverage the power of a browser interface and of a distributed access to the PrintSmith platform, but still use the screens that customers were used to over years and years, and that they know how to use day in and day out. And also that we had to have an ability to migrate all of the data from the existing platform to the new platform, because it is a completely new platform. This is just not a new UI sitting on top of the same old PrintSmith. This is a technology rebuild from the ground up. And so, as usually happens with these sort of things, it took us a little longer than we wanted it to, you know, but we did release it this year, October 2012. The first live customers were deployed on it. We've got about 50 customers now running the new platform. We're showing it here on the floor as well again. We're showing now also the Fiery integration, digital storefront integration. There's an API that's been constructed that we're going to be releasing next month for being able to communicate to CRM and shipping solutions. And again, it has this portability from the existing PrintSmith platform, so you can move all your data across and then just start working in the new system, and there's no retraining because it's the same screens just embedded in a browser. And once we have finished moving all the features and functions of the existing system, now this gives us a much better platform to invest in the future and to drive change and drive additional features and functions within the software. So this is the browser interface for PrintSmith Vision. Again, a lot of the same icons and so on, features you saw in the original PrintSmith, now in a browser. So over the next 12 months, you see a number of the things here we're working on. Shipping integration, which we had only very limited capabilities on inside of the original PrintSmith. Imposition, being embedded in the software. Going to offer it as a hosted software as a service model as well out of our data center. So if you don't want to have to maintain the software on your own servers, you can come to us and we'll take care of that for you. And a number of other features as you see here. So those are the core MIS packages that many of you use today. Now we want to focus on these other game-changing technologies that sit on top of the MIS that are common across many of them. Digital storefront, you saw the little advertisement at the start of the session today, talking about how digital storefront can help drive online business for you. Well, we've been focusing on trying to make that user experience, that end user experience for where someone actually comes to the website and makes a decision to buy product from you, more streamlined, more friendly, more modern. And so that's been a lot of the investment over the last 12 months within digital storefront. If you haven't seen it yet, please take a look. I have a little snapshot coming up on the next slide. But again, the workflow integration here. Some of our digital storefront clients don't have an MIS today. And so they still want to take advantage of some of the integration capabilities with Fiery. So we added Fiery Auto Discovery in digital storefront, Fiery Capability Mapping. So when a customer selects stapling inside of digital storefront for the product that they're purchasing, that's going to map through to the Fiery to automatically pick stapling on the Fiery and drive the digital printing device with that selection. Paper selections. A customer picks a specific type of paper they want. That's going to, again, automatically map through the MIS, which maps through to the Fiery, which makes sure the proper paper tray is selected and it's got the proper kind of paper loaded in the paper tray to feed when you print the end product for the customer. So this is an example of the user interface with the different features and functions to do dynamic job ticketing in real time when an end customer is ordering a job from you, and you can then see what that looks like with a real-time preview associated to the content. So in the coming year, you'll see more of these capabilities. We're going to be leveraging, and I'll talk about OPS in a moment, but one of the reasons we purchased OPS is because we're seeing demand from our customers to expand what we're doing in the web-to-print environment to get into more of the cross-media marketing capabilities. They said, okay, well, digital storefront, you can upload content, you can customize it. We have variable data capabilities with Fusion Pro and with XMPie, but we're getting customers saying, well, we're having demand for more things. They want to be able to do email marketing campaigns tied into the print marketing campaigns within the software. They want personalized URLs. They want to be able to do variable data, but with customization capabilities, so someone can go onto the website and actually modify the content and then merge a listed. Things of that sort. OPS had all of those features embedded within it, and so we said, okay, well, this is a natural fit for our company. We acquired OPS. The goal is to merge those two platforms over the coming few years so that we have a single web-to-print platform that has everything together within it, and that'll just be a natural version change for everybody that's on either platform. So you won't have to buy a new system over time. You'll just be on one or the other. You know, the features will be licensed, of course. You know, there's different things for variable data versus customization and so on. But if you have the features in one of those platforms, you'll just continue to get a product that has those features in it, and the technologies will just get closer and closer over time. But the first stage of that is taking this cross-channel marketing tool from OPS and embedding it inside of digital storefront. And that's what we've got targeted for later this year. So if you have digital storefront and you want to do more of this cross-channel marketing, to be able to do email marketing and so on, or provide this ability to do document customization combined with variable data on the web, that'll be a feature that'll be available as an add-on for digital storefront later this year. And so, you know, we think that can add some really exciting capabilities for you in the future. So OPS, as I mentioned, you know, an acquisition we did earlier this year. This is the kind of range of capabilities that OPS was focused on. The retail, print, e-commerce, and the web-to-print storefronts, that was more in the vein of what digital storefront had been focusing on before, but this whole cross-media marketing capability that I was just alluding to, that's really a new capability for EFI to be able to offer. To have our own variable data engine as an option built into the system, to be able to allow customers to be able to log in, bring up a document template, and actually modify that template on the website in real time, to be able to merge that modified template with a mail list and be able to generate output either to the web for a personalized URL, to email for an email marketing campaign, to print, and also even for SMS, for sending instant messages as well. So we've seen a tremendous amount of interest in this. Please take a look at it as well in the computer lab. Auto count. So 2011, we acquired Prism. Prism had a product, QTMS, which was another shop floor data collection product, very similar to auto count. That's another situation similar to what I was talking about with OPS and DSF, where we're combining together those technologies. So we're leveraging what's in QTMS and what's in AutoCount to come up with a best-of-breed shop floor data collection tool that can work across many of our platforms. And so some of those changes you've seen already. Plant Manager, there's now a new browser-based dashboard for Plant Manager that allows you to monitor what's going on with all of your equipment. That leveraged a lot of the technology we had from QTMS. We're now doing work in process tracking within AutoCount and other technology we leverage from QTMS to be able to, so when you're on a press and you're producing skids, we actually track the skids produced there. When you go to a piece of bindery equipment, we're actually consuming off of those skids, so we know how much product is available in work in process and where it's located. Again, a nice new feature to help get better control of the costs and the status of what's happening in your environment. PrintFlow. So as I mentioned before, PrintFlow is a key piece of our technology platform to really help you run your business more efficiently. And you know, Udi has been preaching the gospel of PrintFlow and the optimization capabilities in there and TGO for, I don't know, 30 years now or so, maybe longer. So those concepts have become reality now for many of our clients. If you don't have PrintFlow today and you're competing against someone that does, you're definitely putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage because of the ability to actually help run your business more efficiently, to reduce changeover time, to reduce outsourcing, reduced overtime. Those are the type of things that PrintFlow can help to do. This year we made a big breakthrough. It's something that I've been bugging Udi about for 10 years to add to the software, and we never could get the bandwidth to go ahead and add it, and a customer that wanted to work with us on it. But this employee and tool constraints, we want to must-see and best-in category at Graph Expo this year for this. But what this basically does, and I don't know if you can, it's kind of tough to see on the overhead there, but instead of just scheduling equipment, we now can schedule your people at your facility as well. We're looking at them as constraints that you have in the operation of your business, because we know certain people have certain skill sets, and you don't want to have too many people sitting around doing nothing, but you also want to make sure you don't create a production schedule that exceeds the capability of the people that you have working in any given shift at any given time at your plant. And so we've now added people as a piece of the optimization decision process, and so each of those little bars on the left-hand side there represents a person with what they are scheduled to do during their day, and that's tied into the equipment at the plant, so we know which people are running on which equipment. We're validating that they have the right skill set to be able to run that equipment, and we're making sure we don't exceed our capabilities. And so if the people become a bottleneck when you're doing your optimization, that lets you then make better staffing decisions to say, okay, am I willing to let this job run late, or am I going to bring in more people to help run it on time? And you can evaluate the cost effect of making those decisions. Tool and die constraints are similar types of things to the people. So if you have movable equipment at your shop, if you're in a Flexo world and you have dies that you need for your Flexo cylinders, those dies can become constraints on the optimization, so we don't exceed the quantity that you have in use at any given point in time. Other things like movable inkjet heads, things of that sort also, can be constraints that are used as part of your optimization, so we make sure we don't create a schedule that you can't actually execute on the shop floor given the equipment that you have. So, PrintFlow remains a very key piece of our technology here, and again, where we've seen kind of immediate ROI payback from our clients in their use of this as an optimization tool. If you don't have it today, again, please take a look, or at least take a class and learn about it in the classroom setting about how it can change your business. So PrintStream is our warehouse management and fulfillment option I mentioned before for Monarch and Pace. And so this tool, and this is a workflow illustration of how PrintFlow fulfillment and warehouse management can fit into your shop in an overall workflow environment. I'm not going to go through this since we're getting toward the end of the presentation here, step by step. But Lawrence or Gavin will be happy to do that at your leisure if you like an explanation of this entire workflow. The point behind this, though, is that in the past, when you thought about the printing business, you thought about it in terms of jobs. I get to estimate a job and produce a job, and it was a finite event. You sell the thing to the customer, you print it, you ship it, you're done. Well, as we know, the printing industry has changed quite a bit, and now it's become more about orders rather than jobs. You estimate for a customer about producing a type of product for them, but the customer says, well, okay, that's fine. I'm going to order it from you over the next 6 months in little pieces, 1 at a time, or 10 at a time, or 50 at a time, or 100 at a time. And so PrintStream fulfillment is really around dealing with that order-taking part of the business. It's how do I get those orders, those high volumes of orders in from my clients, and how do I then turn them into fulfillment at my shop? So help me make the decision about when I should print it, when I should warehouse it. How do I manage picking the things out of my warehouse, kitting, for multi-product orders that come in. So it really, again, is another tactical tool to help you run your business more efficiently and deal with that significant trend that's happening in printing. And so that represents our product suite today. There are some other products I haven't gone through, but I figure that's about the extent that I can wear you down at this time of the morning. So go to the computer lab. Please take a look at these things. Take advantage of the fact that you're here at the conference to sit through those classes, learn more about how you can run your business better, how you can drive revenue, how you can cut costs, and take advantage of the opportunity to also interact with all the great people here at Connect. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show.